Having gone from knowing people for the past 4 years into a completely different environment was a big shift for me, especially in my social and academic life. I came from a high school of around 400 graduates to a school of 1,000 or more per grade, and academically I knew what I wanted to do when I was in high school, and coming to Seton University, I kind of changed my mind slightly. I was confused at first of what I wanted to do and if it was what I wanted to do with my life. Being a first semester freshman, no one knows exactly what they want to do. They have an idea and a vision in mind, but they don't completely understand it in general of who they want to be and who they want to become. It challenged me coming from a moderately sized high school into a big university, and Seton University is not the largest university that accepted me, but I chose it because even though it wasn't that big, it was still big enough that I wasn't going to know everybody and not everyone was going to know me. And the challenge there was finding a social group that would accept me for who I was and what I wanted to be, and not something that I wanted to pretend I was fake or something like that. I just wanted to find a clique of friends or a group of people that were like me and similar to my beliefs and what I wanted to become. One of my favorite classes of the past semester was my history class, and I always loved history. It's just not something I see my life pursuing, and it was United States History 2 with Vanessa May as my professor. She's actually written a book, but I haven't read it yet. And anyway, what I liked about her is that she challenged us to make discussion points that weren't just basic on the surface level of the readings that we were doing in class. It was like we had to dig deeper and find the true meaning of the papers that we were reading and actually challenge her as a professor to catch up to what we were trying to tell her. Like I said before, I had come from a small high school, and how I adjusted from being away from home now, I'm not that far from my hometown. It's around 30 to 40 minutes without traffic. I knew from my brother's experience that he had dormed and his college was about 30 minutes away, and he didn't adjust very well because he dormed as a junior in college and not as a freshman, and I knew that I wanted the freedom to have my own space, so I chose dorm life even though I did not specifically have to. But I adjusted with it well because I had already become very independent my senior year of high school, and that independence actually helps you adjust to moving forward and living on your own. Even though you're not completely living on your own dorm life, you do have roommates, and I originally had a triple, but one of those roommates did not work out very well, so we became a double, me and my other roommate, who actually, she came from very far away. She comes from North Carolina, and I just come from Upper New Jersey, so my family is very close, and if I really needed something in a hurry, my dad would bring it to school for me, and she didn't actually have that type of accessibility, so I would always ask her if I was going home, like, oh, do you need me to pick anything up for you, because I was closer. And I think my adjusting with it was that I didn't call my parents every single day when I first got to school, because I needed that security that even though I knew they were a phone call away, that I didn't have to make that phone call yet, because I did not specifically want to become homesick like everyone else so far. I kept myself busy, and I didn't want to focus on, oh, what am I going to do now? I'm so bored. Why don't I just think about everything I could be doing while I'm at home? I didn't do that, because that's something that puts you in the mindset of, yes, I want to be home. Why am I at college? And why am I dorming? Another difficult thing that I had to deal with coming to a new place was I had to leave my friends from high school behind. And originally when I was coming to Seton Hall, I was coming to Seton Hall with my boyfriend, but we broke up before graduation, and he still is at Seton Hall, I'm still at Seton Hall. But the difference was we went from being best friends to dating and then to nothing, and it was very awkward for me at first when we would both see each other on campus, because it didn't end well, and he was one of the only people I knew originally coming there other than the people in my PA group. But it got better, and I met people that were like me and understood me for who I was and didn't want to judge me based on my past or listen to rumors or any mean things that he might have said about me. When I think about who I was in August and who I am now, I see someone who is slightly scared and nervous about moving somewhere slightly far from their home and leaving behind people and leaving behind high school and everything you were in high school. And I think that it might have been slightly stupid. Like, why was I worrying about things that were going to change no matter if I went to college or not? Whether I chose to just go right to a job and not to university, I still would be leaving people behind and going to a new place. It's bound to happen after graduation. Things are bound to change because change is inevitable. I got here to where I am now with help from my professors, my courses, and friends I've made along the way. My PA has definitely been a very big help in getting here. She would let us text her and ask her questions over the summer about worries or concerns we had about being at school, and it kind of was a reassurance. And then being in a dorm with more freshmen is you're all in the same boat. You don't know that many people when you start school, and having them to converse with and talk to about worries and struggles that you're having, courses, asking your roommates or suite mates for help in courses they might be in. I know me and one of my suite mates were both in pre-calculus, and we would both talk to each other about like things that we didn't understand. She's actually much better at it than me, but she definitely helped me a lot with roots and stuff. So I know, Professor Lormore, you don't know pre-calculus, so I'm not going to try and to explain it, but the person I am now is more confident and not as scared as the person I was in August. And I know I was confident in August, but I'm not as full of worry as I was then, and I'm ready to take the spring semester by storm.